Welcome back to the channel. So today we will be starting with the new series where we will be learning how to create the business report using the pandas and xlsxwriter. So what exactly the pandas over here and xlsxwriter over here is. So basically in while working with the real-time project, we create the data frames, right? We create the data frame and uh, using pyspark or pandas, right? So what we want these data frames to be converted into the well formatted report, right? We want the Excel report. Basically you might have seen in your project, there we create a beautiful reports. So for that, basically we use xlsxwriter, right? So along with the Python, like we can format these data frames via different tools. Basically, we have OpenPyXL, xlsxwriter. These are the two like the famous ways in which we format the data frames or create a report using Pandas data frame, right? So in this series, basically, we will be using Excel writer, pandas, like the syntax is pt dot Excel writer, Excel writer, where the we provide the engine. So that engine would be the XLS writer. We have a beautiful documentation for the same. Like this XLS writer basically help us formatting the data frame basically, and that we put into the Excel and like carry forward that particular sheet with the client for the business report, right? So that we will be learning over here in this series. I will like in a lecture by lecture, I will show you like how we can format and create the pandas data frame and format that, right? And at the end of this series, basically we will be creating 2 or 3 projects where we will be like applying all those formatting learnings with that particular project basically, right? We would be creating the pie chart and all those things like the all different kind of formattings and all those things we will be learning at the end of the series, right? Okay. So what are the different other ways in which we provide the reports to the client, right? So you might have seen that we create dashboards, right? In your project, you might be using the uh, Tableau, Power BI. If you are working with the AWS environment, then you might be using the QuickSight and other like BI tools basically, which we use for reporting purpose, right? We saw the KPIs and all those things. But sometime what happen in a real-time project, we might get some client who wants the report in the Excel format, right? XLS format. So how to provide the reports to them? We create like for the data processing, we might be using technologies like um, pandas, pyspark, right? They creates the data frames, right? We want these data frames to be in a well formatted way, right? So for that we use here like for this tutorial basically we can use the PySpark also, but for this tutorial what we are using pandas plus XLS writer, right? So basically this we use for the formatting purpose. So I think you understood basically the purpose of this, right? So let's start with the XLS writer and then understand what exactly it is and how this will help us to create the report. So this like I will provide the documentation link in the description section. You can check out from there. So what exactly the XLS writer is? So you can see here the XLS writer is a Python module that can be used to write text, number, formula, hyperlink to multiple worksheet in Excel and all those things. And this supports the features, all these features like. So you can basically create a chart, you can format the header, footer, and everything of the Excel sheet. Uh, like you can put the colors in it, you can create the charts in it, you can apply the filters basically, and all this. So you can do the cell formatting. So all these things we would be learning step by step in our further tutorials. So you can see here we have two different things, basically the working with pandas and xlsxwriter, working with polars with xlsxwriter. So like how we do the create the pandas data frame, right, and then we format that particular data. Similarly, we have the polars also. Using that we can do the formatting basically. And yes, I think these are the things which are there. So basically we use pandas for creating the data frame, and then on the top of it we use the xlsxwriter so for the formatting that you will see in the action, right? So let's start. So if we go here, let's see the introduction of the xlsxwriter. We know what Python pandas is, that basically we use for the processing of the data and creating the data frame. So you can see here like this we saw, right? We create the images, charts, and all those things using the xlsxwriter. And what are the advantages? So this I have been using in my project for quite long now, and I found it very interesting basically for creating the reports and all. So these are the advantages basically. It supports the more feature, like more Excel feature than any of the alternative modules, and all those things you can read from here, right? So let's go to the uh, get started with xlsxwriter. So what all things you need basically for the xlsxwriter. So you need to do this thing, pip install xlsxwriter, and before that you should have the pandas install in it, right? Because for creating the pandas data frame we need pandas, right? So you can do this, basically pip install xlsxwriter, and before that what we can do, uh, we need to have pip install pandas, right? But since I already have, so what I will do, I will write import pandas as pd, right? So this will help us creating the data frame. Let me zoom a little. Okay, let me run this also. Let me remove this. So this is not required every time. And we can import the xlsxwriter also. Import xlsx writer. Let me import this. Okay. So I think this is the only thing which is required, and these are the other ways basically how we can uh, get this xlsxwriter and get started. So let me show you before, like without using any data frame, how these reports get generated. So here, if you see, we are writing just a simple uh, thing. So what we are doing, using here we are not using any data frames to write, right? So basically, what I told you that we would be converting the data frames into the reports, right? This is our purpose of this series. But as of now, using the XLS writer, I'm simply writing data, data to seat, right? I'm not using any data frame. So first we will see this basically how it works, and then we'll start with the data frames, right? So in industry, basically what we do, so here we are basically importing the XLS writer, and then from that XLS writer, we are creating the workbook with the name of that particular sheet as hello XLS, right? This is creating the workbook basically. So this is the basic convention in which we write the data. So here then we are adding the worksheet. So this is the worksheet. So everything now will start with this. So worksheet dot write, worksheet dot set column, worksheet dot set rows, all those things which we do, right? The formatting part. So here what exactly we are doing at A1. So basically let me show you the output. So this is A1, right? Column A and the row 1. So here we are writing hello world, right? So this is what we should see at A1, the cell number A1, right? And then we are writing the workbook dot close. So what exactly this does is it like creates, or basically the and the execution of this formatting, right? Let me run this. So now we should get one hello.xls file, right? So here we have xls this file. Let me open this. So if you see carefully, here we are not writing any data frames, right? We are simply writing a data to a particular cell. But this is not how in production or in live environment we write, right? Or work, right? So basically there we will have a data frame to which we want to convert in a report, right? So let's see that we will see like writing the data frame uh, to Excel file and then formatting it. That's the purpose of the series basically. Let me see the example of this. So now if you see here, we at A1 we have hello world, right? So let me write something else also. So let's say if we write, we will see everything in the series basically. Here we are writing at a particular cell, we are hard coding the things. In future videos, we will see everything. So let's say I write at B10, I want to write um, D with Harry, right? Let's see if we want to write like this. Let me run this. So what exactly is happening? So that by default mode of execution is, let me share the formula. So in the option, like we get the modes basically. So in which mode we want to write. So by default it is override. So this data must have been overridden. So let me download this again and open this file. Okay, let's open this. Okay, so now if you see at A1 we have hello world and B10. So like the column B and the row 10, we have D with her, right? So we can do the formatting. If you see here, like I'm like dragging these things and manually basically, but in report to the client, we cannot give a report like this where the client has to basically set the column width and all. So all these things we will do it by code, like the client will not have to do anything at their end, right? So let's see. So this is the basic thing which we do, right, using the xlsxwriter. But as I mentioned, we will not be writing these kind of code. We will use only the xlsxwriter for the formatting, but the data would come from the pandas data frame, right? So let me remove these things and let me start with the actual tutorial basically. So this is what I wanted to show you basically and the features what we have. So these all are the feature basically the color and then all these things we will see. Let's start with this, working with pandas and xlsxwriter, right? So let's see here what exactly written over here. So this we know, pandas is nothing but the data analytics tool, right? We use for this for the processing of the data and performing the data cleaning and all those things, data processing. So this line is important basically. Pandas write XLS file using the OpenPyXL or XLS writer. So basically, to write the pandas data frame to Excel, we have two different methods, that is OpenPyXL and XLS writer. So in this tutorial, basically we are using this XLS writer. Okay, so let's begin with this code. So this is the sample code basically. Let me explain you over the there only. Let me copy this and write over here. Okay, so what we are doing, we are importing the pandas. So this is not required because here we have already imported. Here what we are doing, we are creating one data frame and the name of the column is data. And then what we are doing, so this step is common basically. Here we are using the pandas Excel writer and then this is the name of the Excel file, basically the pandas simple. Let me write this as lecture1, lecture1. The name of the file would be lecture1.xls and the engine. This is important, right? Here we are using the engine as xlsxwriter. Got it. If we don't write this, we won't be able to use the property of the xlsxwriter and format the data frame. Okay. So this piece of code is required. So now here the main piece of code start. So what we are doing here, we are writing, we are saying that convert this data frame to an Excel where the writer is this. So what exactly we are passing to this writer? We are passing the name of the file and then what the engine should be, right? and then we are writing the seed. So in an Excel file, we get the seeds, right? So this we call as seed, and then again here we write another seed, here we write another seed, here we write another seed. So these are basically the seeds, right? So that's what we are writing over here. We are saying the name of the seed should be seed one. Let me write this as um, lecture-1 seed. The name of the seed should be lecture-1 seed, right? So let me run this. This is the basic piece of code of writing the data into the Excel, and I will go like walk you through the other options. So let me show you the other options over here. So if you see here, we have start column, start row, index, header, and all these things we will be exploring, right? So let me write it as it is first. In today's video, we will not be starting with the formatting of the data, but we will see only the simple thing like how we see the output basically after this piece of code. In the next video onward, we will start with the formatting of the data. So let's see. Okay. Now if you see, we got this data. So if you see here, the name of the Excel file is lecture-1 and the seat name is lecture-1 seat. Okay. Let me remove these two. We don't want to save this. We don't want to save this also. Okay. So now if you see here, we know, right, the data frame we get the index and this is the data, right? But in a report, if you see, like in most of the time we won't be need like uh, want this column to be there, like the index column, right? So we don't want. So what exactly we need to do for that is we can simply write over here index. So index equal to false, right? And if you see here, index equal to false. Okay, let me run this first, then I will show you the other important property from here. So we ran this, again refresh this thing. So data must be updated. Let me download it again. Let me close this Excel file. Okay, let me run this again. Okay, now if you see, we don't have that index column over there, right? Because we have written the index equal to false. So this is the basic data which we are getting over here. So what if we want to create uh, so if you see here, this data frame is starting from A1, right? This data frame is starting from the column A and the row A. What if I want to start it from let's say column number, this is column 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Let's say I want to start from the column D and okay, let me set the row and column anything. Let me write like this. So we have the properties like start row. Let's give this as 5 and start call as 4. Let me write like this and let's see what exactly we are getting now. I think this is downloaded. Let me open this. Okay. Now if you see where we are getting the things. So we had written, let me show you again. We had written start row equal to 5. That means we want to start the writing the data of this data frame from the row number 5. Let's count this. Let's count this. So row number 5, this is row number 1, this is row number 2, this is row number 3, this is row number 4, this is row number 5. You might be thinking that this is wrong. We are getting over here. So basically, the indexing over here in the Excel writer start from 0, right? Here we have written 5, right? So the indexing would be like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is row number 5. So that's why we are getting the data in row number 6. So if you write 5, then you will get the data in 6. Similarly, if you write 10, then you will get the data in row number 11. Got it? So here if you see column number, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we are getting the data in row number 5. Sorry, column number 5. So guess what we would have written? We would have written 4 because the indexing start from 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's check if we have written 4 or not. Right, we have written 4 over here. That means this is confirmed that indexing over here start from 0, right? So I think this is clear. So let's say like in production environment or in the real-time environment, we won't be having only one data frame. We might be having multiple data frames. Let's say we have one more data frame, that is data frame 1, and the data is this. Let's create one more column basically over here. So let me write column name as name, right? Column name as name, and let me give the data as name as A. We should have the same number of record. So let me write 3, 3, 6, and 7. We have 7 records. So C, D, let me put over here. Okay, then E, then F, 3, 3, 6, and we want one more, right? So let's say we have two data frames. Like now we want to display this two data frame in the same sheet. How we can display? So we have to do the same thing. We just need to copy paste this code and right over here we want to write this data frame 1 to xlsxwriter seat name. We want to write in the same seat, so that's why we are writing the seat the same seat name. I will show you how we can write in the different seat to the same excel file. So here let's say we want to start this row from the row number 10, and the column we want is 8, right? So let me run this again. Now let's see the seat again. Let me delete this thing or cancel this thing. Okay, let me download this. Let's start. Let's see. Okay, now if you see this, we know, right? Row number 5 and column number 4, and this we had written row number 10. So that's why we are getting in the row number 11, right? Over here we had written start should be 10 and start column is 8. So we are getting this in the 11th, and here this we are getting at some other places. So like this we had written row column number 8, so this is at the 9th place. So if we count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and here we are getting the data properly, right? So I think this piece of things are clear. Now let's say if I want to write this data frame, let me create one more data frame, that is data frame 3. Okay, data frame 3, the name should be, let's give 2 only. So this is the next data frame. Let's say instead of data, let's say this as marks, or let's say age, right? And let's write this data frame to a seat, different seat basically. So what we can do, as I mentioned, we just need to change the name of the seat. Let's name this as lecture-1 seat number 2, right? And here we can write 2 over here because we want to second data frame. And let's say we want to start this from the row number 2 and column number 2, right? I've ran this again. Let's download this and let's open this. Okay, now if you see, we have two different seats. Seat number 1, we have the data from the data frame 1 and data frame 2, and here we have the data from the second uh, basically from the third data frame, and there we had written the row and column should be 2 2. So this is the column is 1 2, sorry, 0 1 and 2. So we are getting in the C column, and here the row was 2, so 0 1 and 2. The basically the start is this. So yes, I think let's wrap for today over here. So in the next video we'll start with the formatting and everything. So if you have not subscribed the channel, please do like, subscribe, and share the channel. Let's meet in the next tutorial. Until then, bye.